Hello, TNT Motorsports fans. I'm Richard Leake. We're in the Greensboro Coliseum, Greensboro, North Carolina, where thousands of motorsports fans are coming through the gates to see the finest pullers in America. It's the next stop on the Redman TNT All-American Pulling Series.
Power Tracks presents the most powerful sport on earth, the Redman TNT All-American Pulling Series.
Turning the power on, rolling on down, turning the power on.
Power Tracks is brought to you by the heartbeat of America, today's Chevy truck.
See the lightning, it's fun to roll.
And welcome to Power Tracks, where tonight it's the modified two-wheel drives and Army Armstrong. The Redman TNT All-American Pulling Series winter season is winding down. And we've got guys like Wayne Roush and Mike Stowe neck and neck in the point standings and others chasing them.
Well, you're going to hear the name Roush, Stowe, Lamont's heavy into this thing. We got some new pullers up in the points, or not new pullers to the sport, but the Walsh brothers have found a combination. Jim Lyons comes out of the box in Louisville, Kentucky with a brand new truck combination. He's going to be tough. It's going to be good tonight.
So as you can see, it's kind of a who's who in the two-wheel drive division right here. And coming your way next on Power Tracks. And welcome back to the beautiful Greensboro Coliseum in North Carolina, where you are about to see the Major League of Professional Truck and Tractor Pulling. Tonight, it's a super modified two-wheel drive competition, Army. A beautiful crowd on hand, and they are going to be seeing the superstars of the sport.
Well, the super crowd are going to be seeing the superstars. Like you say, the crowd is really getting excited about it, Richard. The super modified two-wheel drive, best in the sport, coming your way right now.
Now, I know you're down trackside. Tell us about track condition.
Well, the track looks real good. All the drivers are satisfied with it. It'll be 145 feet in length. They're adjusting the sled now as we get ready to start with the super mod two-wheel drive category.
Now, our first puller coming out is the current leader in the winter national points race on this Redman TNT circuit. We are talking about Wayne Roush in the little red truck. It's a Dodge product powered by a KB Vinny Dodge Hemi engine.
Well, Roush definitely believes in the Chrysler horsepower. This is the latest update version. Basically, if you were to go to a drag race, you would see the same engine in a double B funny car, Richard. It runs on a methanol for fuel, but it will make a whole lot of horsepower on a 145 track. Let's see what he can do. Rolls the horsepower good. Now it settles down, and it goes up again. It's a driver's track, Richard. A driver's track. They're going to have to muscle him out.
He's close to a full pull, but not quite there. 142.52, and as you said, a full pull distance tonight is going to be 145 feet. Next to the line will be a veteran but a youngster. He's 23 years old, but he's been a professional puller for over 5 years. That is Mark Miller, the Mini Brute Chevrolet out of Little Plymouth, Virginia.
You know, one of our earlier shows, you referred to his uncle that travels the circuit with him. If you had another father, you'd like to have a father like him. If I had my son grow up, I'd like to have him be like Mark Miller. He's a class young man, but right now, all the dice on the table. Let's see what's going to happen. He rolls a little bit light on the nose. That's going to cost him some distance. But back. It brought it right back for a full pull.
Didn't cost him an inch. As a matter of fact, he took it the length of full pull over 145 feet. For Mark Miller, the track worked good for
Mark,
him.
everybody was talking about the bite, saying it wasn't there. You tried a whole new ball game. You came out and nailed the throttle and got on top of the clay. It looked like it really worked well for you.
Well, I run a faster gear than what I would on a normal track, and I had to get on it quick with the load the motor too heavy, and I put an awful lot of weight on the back end, and I just lucked out when I got about the last 20 foot. I thought the stop, he hit some good ground and just gave me enough to lunge out the end.
So the key phrase there is we see the end of that full pull by Mark Miller is weight. He put the weight, most of it, Army, he said on the back of the truck. That could be the key to winning tonight.
Richard, it definitely could be. Remember, the rest of the drivers will be watching his pull.
Now, our next puller coming out is Jim Lyons out of Louisville, Kentucky. It is called the Stitches, also GMC. It is a brand new truck. And earlier today, Army spent time with Jim in that beautiful machine.
Can you tell us a little bit about the new truck in comparison to the other truck you've been running?
Army, I don't know, maybe it was a mistake to go with a new truck, but, you know, you got to progress, you got to go along with progress and get everything looking good and have the new tubular chassis, have them light. And the new chassis has changed my whole deal around, and I haven't found the right combination for the chassis. We've tried all kinds of gear ratios. The motor's the same as we run in the old two-wheeler, which was probably one of the best two-wheelers in the country. But we've changed everything around on this truck, and we're getting there, but it's going to take a while. There's a lot of things got to be changed on this truck, because we changed the chassis. A friend of mine made a deal with me to build a chassis if I would help him on his tractor motors, but there's some problems in the truck, and we've got to find them.
Well, let's see if the 5-time national champion, Jim Lyons, can find what the problems are and solve them on this 145-foot-long track, Army.
Only GMC in the field. Let's see what's going to happen. Not going to work for Lyons. The problem he's been talking about is a lot of chassis flex. He's not able to stick the horsepower on the track. Chassis flexing on him is costing him some distance. Only what, Richard? About a 138?
138.03. Everyone is chasing Mark Miller's full distance right now. When we come back, it'll be the 3 H's pulling as Power Tracks continues on ESPN.
I told him.
And welcome back to Power Tracks. It's the Red Man TNT Motorsports All-American Pulling Series. Tonight, we're in Greensboro, North Carolina for the super modified two-wheel drive competition. Already, we have seen Mark Miller in a Chevrolet take it the length of a track, a full pull over 145 feet. Out next is a Ford product. This is Art Hathaway. He calls his truck the Honkin' Donkey. He's out of Washington, Pennsylvania, and he is a dandy.
Well, Richard, Chevrolet showed that it could be done. However, the weight was so very critical. Miller told us about that in the interview. What we're watching is for the track consistency, and it looks like it's going to be a driver track. If you notice, the vehicle will start to power. Now it settles, power settles. Okay, what that's an indication of, the track is biting and letting go. The horsepower is there. The track's just not holding it, Richard.
And it's reflected in his distance, only 135.16 for Art Hathaway and the Honkin' Donkey.
Art, what do you do in a situation like this other than sit there and smile like you're doing?
I don't know. As soon as I give it too much, that's when it drops.
Yeah, when you had some good ground speed, it looked like you had it going, and then, bam, it just went away on you. It broke loose, and the front end settled back down. You were just kind of sitting out in the middle of no man's land.
That's right. It felt good. It felt like it was going, but then it just all of a sudden dropped, and then after that, I was on and off the throttle, and it's bad.
What is the problem with the track tonight?
Well, I think it's just bad, slippery. You know, I had more weight on the back than I've ever had.
So a greasy track, according to Art Hathaway, as we get ready next for another youngster with a heck of a lot of experience. 27-year-old Mark Hare, 12 years a professional puller. He is driving the Jack Daniels Mark Hare Springfield, Ohio machine.
You know, Richard, it's kind of interesting what the hump goat chassis driver and a honky donkey just said a moment ago. Everybody's hanging all the weight on the rear. Now, this truck comes out, you notice, you can see there's no weight on the front. The Chrysler engine comes up the front end, starts to rise a little bit, but we've never had, oh, looky here. He's out of here. He figured it out.
Hot dang, as he may say, a full pull for Mark Hare. Takes it the length of the track. And so obviously, Mark Hare not having problem with the track. You heard Art Hathaway say the track was too greasy and going away. But you just saw Mark Hare take it the full length.
Mark, everybody's complaining about the track, but the two fellas who made a full pull, you and the Mini Brute, have done the same thing. You came out and just pulled the trigger on, just like it was a hard-biting track, and it worked for you.
Well, we probably both took a little weight off the front end, maybe more so than the other fellas, and I don't know, it's just so greasy on top. You just can't hardly get into it. We're running extremely light from normal, so, you know, it's just whoever can get their weight right and get a hold of that track somehow. I mean, it's tough to get a hold of.
I'm going to put you on the spot. Can the Jack Daniels Dodge beat the Chevrolet tonight?
Well, it's a Jack Daniels S10 with a Dodge motor. We're here to win. We're not done until it's over.
I like the attitude of Mark Hare. He is going to be in a pull-off already with Mark Miller, maybe some more in that Jack Daniels machine. You know, Mark has been involved in pulling since 1964 when his dad used to run tractors. Then he teamed up with the Humphrey team in 1986, and here's Army to tell you about it.
Bill and Mark Humphrey out of Ohio have a new concept in the sport of pulling. They're going head-to-head with themselves. What they've done is for years have designed and built premier chassis that have run all over the country. They're pulling their horns in. They're putting all their energy and efforts into your own two-truck combination. Now, Mark, why the two identical trucks that actually compete against each other?
Well, we like to do good with both trucks, of course. The first truck we run, we do the best we can to match our truck to the track. And when any adjustments we make, we try to do that on the second truck to get the best run.
Why did you pick Mark Hare to drive these vehicles?
Well, about 8 years ago, we built a tractor for Mark. It was an Allison-powered aircraft tractor, and we saw what he'd done with it, and he'd done real good. and we was real happy with how he handled that, and we just thought we'd put him on and be our driver.
Mark, driving the vehicles, everything looks the same. We've walked around and tried to find difference and can't do it. Is there a sensation difference in driving the two vehicles?
No, not really, Army. They're for two vehicles built identical. They're really close running together, you know. We've tried a little things different with one truck or the other, you know, to see if it'd work and beat the other truck. But really, basically, they run real close to the same. They handle the same. And, you know, it's just they're real close to being alike.
So Mark here is going to be on a pull-off. Is he going to be joined by anyone else? Well, from one of the younger pullers on the circuit to one of the older, and I don't mean he's an old man either, but he's a veteran. John Heilman is driving the Sultan. It is out of Rockford, Ohio.
Rockford, Ohio native comes to the sled knowing it can be done. The question is, does he have his weight right to do it? Bob Seeger's got a song out about it, Richard, called Making Thunderbirds. Let's see what he can do. Rolls into the throttle. Boy, it's not going to work for him. Not going to work for him at all.
You're going to see it reflected on his distance, 134.71 for John Heilman and the Sultan Ford Thunderbird out of Rockford, Ohio. So that is not the pulling distance he wanted. So we've got the superstars of the sport. We're talking about your top three, the national point standing still ahead. Roush, Lamont, also Dan Walsh and Mike Stowe. And welcome back to Power Tracks, where you see the current national points leader on this Red Man TNT Motorsports All-American Pulling Series circuit. It is the veteran Wayne Roush, the yellow Model T out of Dublin, Ohio. You know, Army, in 1988, Wayne won 23 events on the circuit, and that says a lot as to why he is the current national leader on this winter point circuit.
Well, everybody that follows the sport knows the story about Roush. He was a college professor. He left that profession to come over to get involved in this sport. He's very, very serious. He's very dedicated to the sport. That's why he's so successful at it. He's made one run with the red truck. Remember, Roush is one of the pullers that does run two vehicles on the circuit. He learned from the one run. Let's see exactly what he learned. Distance 145. Roush has to make a full pull to get into a pull-off. Let's see what's going to happen.
He's going to do it, Arnie.
Good run, boy.
He puts it almost through the tunnel wall. A full pull for Wayne Roush. He joins two other pullers, Mark Miller and Mark Hare, in a pull-off. So obviously Wayne Roush learned a lot from his first pull out on the track.
Well, Wayne, that's what the sport's all about. You're going to a pull-off.
That's right. That's what we needed to do.
What did you do?
Well, I thought maybe for a while it wasn't going to come that good. It didn't seem to pick up speed very well out there.
There's three of you in a pull-off. Can you win?
We're sure going to try.
Army, I'm a little bit confused as we get ready next for Dan Walsh and the Irish Challenger Ford. I'm confused because all the pullers are saying the track is bad, but we've had three full pulls.
Yeah, but what they're having to do, Richard, I agree with you. What they're doing, they're experimenting with the weight so radically. Everybody is going to the weight on the very back of the truck. Walsh sits on the starting line. You don't see a whole lot of weight hung on the nose of that two-wheel drive truck. Everything is stuck between the rear wheels, and it's going to work for him. Look at the horsepower starting to come in for the Ford now. Got to make a full pull. He does, yeah.
He certainly does. He follows Wayne Roush. The distance of the track, a full pull also for Dan Walsh. Obviously, he had his weight just right.
Well, I was just hoping it'd hook up, but it wanted to hook and they didn't let loose. I think I could have used 100 pounds up front to make it stay hooked.
Boy, Richard, that's kind of interesting. The only puller that want to put weight in the front of the truck tonight.
Well, of course, you said all these guys are experimenting, and if you want to talk about someone that experiments with a lot of success, you got to mention the name of Ken Lamont. He is a two-time former national champion on this Red Man TNT circuit. It's the Midnight Express plain old toolbox Chevrolet El Camino.
Chevrolet El Camino, powered by Arias engine, and you can bet he has been watching the rest of these drivers to see what's working. Again, you look at the front of his truck, no weight on the nose at all. Starting to sky, now it hooks bad to the right. That's going to really hurt him, Richard.
Oh, he's close, though.
Close, but not going to be there, I don't believe. A 145 track.
144.02, so Ken Lamont misses a full pull by less than a foot, and I got a feeling Ken is not going to be very happy with his distance and with the pull that he just made on this track.
Well, Ken, when this received word, it was not a full pull, but it was awfully, awfully close.
I'll tell you what, they say that different experiences build character. A track like this gives a guy a whole lot of character.
What can you do on a track like it? What seems to be working is something I didn't think would work. The guys that are coming out and nailing it, they're getting enough ground speed to pull them on out.
Yeah, well, I wasted one motor, and at $30,000 a pop, I'm not going to waste any more motors on tracks like that. Just not worth it.
I'll tell you what, I think Ken Lamont is very, very irritated, maybe so much more with his pull than with the track itself, Army.
Well, no, you know, Lamont, what I like about that kid, he just calls it like he sees it. That's the true feeling of Lamont right there, not the run he was looking for. Less than a foot. A foot further, he would have been in the pull-off. He's not going to be there tonight.
But I don't think you can blame the track when we've already had 3 guys make full pulls.
Exactly. It's the same track they're all running on.
Well, let's get ready for the current national champion. Talking about the Bad Dog Ford driver of Mike Stowe. He's out of Warrington, Georgia. And get ready for a heck of a shot from Mike.
This is going to be one of the last times we're going to see this sheet metal. Stowe's going to be tooling up with an 89 Ford body, but he has a lot of problems. For some reason now, everybody's getting crooked on the track. Lamont hooked to the right. Stowe hooked to the right. Overcorrected, came back to the left. It only goes a 139. That's unheard of for him, Richard.
139.24. I've never seen such a short distance in competition from Mike Stowe, but I'll tell you, he'll be happy anyway.
Mike, the cameraman wants to know why you're aiming at him.
I tell you, it had a mind of its own. It wanted to go where it did. I guess I missed the weight about a weight there. We were debating on whether to leave one up or put it back up or move it to the back. I guess I made the wrong decision. You're going to do that if you're in this game long enough.
Okay, now move it up. You mean take it off the front, put it on the back of the vehicle?
Right. We took too much off of the front and moved it to the back, and I should have left it like I had it to start with. Usually, your first impressions are usually your best when you walk in and look at a track. But when you're at the back of the field and you think the track's going away, you think it may be deteriorating, you see guys moving weight, and you feel like, well, maybe I ought to adjust. And usually it's better just to set it and leave it and run.
Well, that pulling distance is definitely going to hurt Mike Stowe in his quest for this Winter National Championship. As we get ready for our final puller, it is Lige McLean. He calls his truck Rowdy. It's a Chevrolet out of DeMossville, Kentucky.
You know, this has got to be one of the cleanest looking trucks on the chart. Not a lot of stickers all over and everything. McLean is a professional puller. He and his wife, Carol, follow the circuit. Now, he's making some horsepower. He's got some good ground speed. He's going straight, Richard. The engine, tough braking. Sound like a blower belt may have gone away on him. The engine completely went.
131.81 the distance for Lige McLean, so he's out of it, but 4 guys are in it. They're in a pull-off. Coming up next on Power Tracks and ESPN. And welcome back to Power Tracks. I'm Richard Leake, along with Army Armstrong. We are watching the Major League of Professional Truck and Tractor Pulling. Army, it is the modified 2-wheel drive competition. We're moving into a 4-truck pull-off with Mark Miller, Dan Walsh, Wayne Roush, and Mark Hare. And they're all going to start out pretty equal except for the added weight in the sled. And that happens to be the subject matter of our question of the week. This question of the week about the Redman TNT All-American Pulling Series comes to us from Rick Bolyard of Brownstown, Illinois. And Rick wants to know how much weight is in the weight box on the sled at the start of a class, and then how much weight is added in case there's a pull-off. Well, Rick, we have with us Ron Hickson. Ron is one of the foremost sled operators in the country. And Ron, in the case of the 2-wheel drive competition we have tonight and a 145-foot-long track, how much weight will you start with in the box?
Roughly 12,000 pounds, 6 blocks at 2,000 pounds apiece.
And in case of a pull-off, how much weight will you add to the sled?
Normally, 1 more block, 2,000 pounds.
And, of course, 2,000 pounds, he's talking about 1 ton of weight being added. But that's not the only critical factor as far as the weight box is concerned, is it?
No, you can change the speed of it. Normally, I don't, but you can change the speed of the box going up the reel.
All right, so hopefully you'll get to see a pull-off and see exactly what Ron means about adding the weight to the box. Rick, we appreciate the question, and if you have a question of the week about the Redman TNT All-American Pulling Series, send it to us at TNT Motorsports, 5515 Poplar Park Boulevard, Louisville, Kentucky, 40228. And if we use your question on a future broadcast, we'll send you free a TNT Motorsports hat. Well, Army, there's no hope about it. We have got a pull-off, and we've got a super pull-off for the top drivers in the country, and we're going to kick it off with Mark Miller, the Mini Brute Chevrolet out of Little Plymouth, Virginia.
Well, Richard, in this sport, you pull off the way you full pull. Now, Miller was the first one to make that shot, so he's the first one to go back with the new sled. Remember, 2,000 pounds more weight. Let's see what's going to happen. A moment ago, 145, no problem. Right now, it is a fistful. The front end stays on the ground. It's just pure muscle right now, Richard.
It is like a tugboat trying to pull a battleship. 113.19 for Mark Miller. He's not going to be real happy with that distance because I doubt if it's going to win it tonight in Greensboro.
Mark, you're first to make a full pull. There's 3 more that came after you. They followed your track. You moved the sled on the pull-off. You went all the way to the left side of the track. You nailed the throttle. Is that going to be good enough to win?
No, it was coming off the starting line. I broke the tires loose too quick, and it was just nose heavy. It rusted away. I wouldn't be surprised if all 3 of them don't beat me.
Now there you hear it from the horse's mouth. Mark Miller doubting if he has any chance at all to win in this pull-off in his Mini Brute Chevrolet. As we get ready for our next puller, that will be Mark Hare, the Jack Daniels Humco machine out of Springfield, Ohio.
Well, it's amazing. During our interview earlier, he made very certain that I let people know that was a Chevrolet truck powered by Dodge. The Jack Daniels S10 Chevrolet. Let's see what's going to happen. Now, his weight looks a little bit better, Richard. You notice how he's powering it up. That's a good run for the position the track's in. He had to go on the other side of a 113. He goes a 128.
128.96, so he takes over the lead in this Ford truck pull-off as we get ready for Wayne Roush in the yellow Model T. Wayne, the veteran out of Dublin, Ohio, as we told you before, is a many-time national champion and considered by even some of the fellow pullers a real legend in the sport.
Tell you what, Richard, this guy has a lot of respect from his competitors. Let's see what's going to happen. The gentle giant, but Richard, this guy walks softly but carries a big, big stick with that Chrysler horsepower. Lays down a perfect run. Look at here, Richard, a bad track and all. Roush still nails it.
He almost took it the full length, a 142 for Wayne Roush. So he is going to take over first place in this Ford truck pull-off, and he takes over first, Army, by some 13, almost 14 feet.
Boy, that's amazing.
And that means we have got 1 truck to go. It belongs to Dan Walsh out of Mouston, Wisconsin. It is the Irish Challenger, and it is a Ford for all you Ford fans.
I tell you, Richard, I'm going to go out on a limb right now and say nobody will make a run that can beat Roush tonight.
Why?
That was just a perfect run. It was amazing. He had everything perfect. Now, Walsh is going after him. But already, you hear the RPM go up on the engine. The ground speed slowed down. Walsh makes a good run, but Roush just wins this thing with a perfect run if there's ever such a thing.
Dan Walsh goes 128.14, so our winner tonight, Wayne Roush.
When the class competition first started, everybody said it was going to be a thinking man's class, and that's exactly what it was. Wayne Roush, you held on to win this thing.
Yeah, well, you got to think, but you've got to be a little bit lucky, too, sometimes, Army.
Okay, the luck here, is that determined by the position you drew in?
I didn't feel that the position made much difference tonight. It seemed to me it was a pretty fair track that way.
When the fellas run in front of you, Wayne, do you watch what they do and adjust accordingly?
I certainly do. I was particularly watching how they came out of the hole and if they spun their tires or just tried to ease out.
Well, congratulations. You did an awfully good job tonight.
Thank you, Army. This points race is going to be awful tight. You know, I won tonight. The yellow truck won. But Mike Stowe and Ken Lamont and Lyons, they're going to be right in there.
And it was another great show by the Redman TNT All-American Pulling Series drivers. We run down the top 5. Ken Lamont in 5th. Mark Miller takes 4th. Dan Walsh 3rd. Mark Hare 2nd. And our congratulations, the real veteran, the current national points leader, Wayne Roush, crowned the winner tonight in the Greensboro Coliseum. So that's going to wrap things up for us. On behalf of Army Armstrong and all the folks at TNT Motorsports, I'm Richard Leake saying we'll see you again on the tracks across America.
Join us next time for Power Tracks, the most powerful sport on earth. Brought to you by TNT Motorsports, the nation's leader in pulling and monster truck racing.
Turning the power on. Engine reeled up and it's raring to go. Gotta get it right, can't be too slow. See the lightning, it's fun.